Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tuts, and today I'm going to show you how to add a lightbox to our site. I'm going to be lightboxing in a video, and it's going to be really cool. So, like in the last lesson, I used a Flex Slider. For this, I'll be using FancyBox, which is available at fancyapps.com. And I should note that with the new version of FancyBox, you do have to pay for it if you plan on using it on a commercial site. If you're not using it on a commercial site, you can use it for free, but due to their terms, you'll have to pay for it if you want to use it. So, because this is just a tutorial, I'm not, I don't have to pay for it necessarily. So, feel free to watch this, and if this doesn't, I use FancyBox because I like it, but you can use any other slideshow, and it's going to be very similar to this. Any other lightbox, that is, not slideshow. So first I want to download this. I'll click download. You can view the licensing options if you'd like. And we're going to add the files to our Magento installation the very same way we did it before. So I'm going to find my skin folder, and then I'm going to start putting in these files. We need our files here, so I'm going to put the jQuery FancyBox CSS file in the CSS where I put the other one, the one from the last one, and I'm going to put the FancyBox pack because it's minified here. You can tell. I'm going to throw that into my JS, and I'm going to wait to throw these images here. I'm going to see where it's looking for these before I put them anywhere. And we're going to have one more thing. We're going to be using the FancyBox media helper. We're going to go here, and here it is, FancyBox media JS, and that's all we should need for this. I'm going to put this also in the JS folder, and let's go back to our local.xml because we have done this a couple times, so you should have this pretty much down. So I'm going to add another one of these add CSS actions, and I'm going to add the FancyBox CSS. I don't know if I copy jQuery FancyBox.css. Okay, and I'm going to copy a couple of these JavaScript ones because we're going to have to add two JavaScript files, the FancyBox minified file, the FancyBox pack, and the FancyBox media file. And I'm actually going to go to Finder to grab those names for those files here so I don't have to type all this out. Because I notice sometimes when you type these file names out, you can really easily have a misspelling or something, and that could throw everything off, and that's really depressing when you find out that's your error after a long time of troubleshooting. So I'm going to paste in our FancyBox. Sorry, not that one first, the FancyBox pack first, and then the FancyBox media. And the FancyBox media just allows you to use different media things, like it makes it easier to use a YouTube clip or a Vimeo clip inside of your FancyBox. So let's save this. Let's go back to our page. Let's come into our home page. I'm going to refresh this and make sure all of our scripts came in. It's nice to make sure that everything is in here looking exactly how you'd want it. FancyBox media is here, FancyBox pack is here. Cool. And on the home page, we're going to go to the same place we were before, which looks like this. It's our home page. I'm going to do this outside of the Flex Slider, and I'm just going to have a link here. And this link is going to be to a Level Up Tuts video. It's going to be one of our Sublime Text 2 tutorials. URL right here. I'm going to paste it in here. So here, and we're going to say watch our video. Okay. And I'm going to actually make this an H2 because I want it to be super big. Okay. Don't save that. Okay, and we're going to have to add a class to this. So if you look through the FancyBox documentation here, we can see using media helper, our HTML has to have, well, it doesn't have to have a class, but we're going to use this FancyBox media, and we're going to then key off that in our JavaScript. So let's click here, and we're going to add a class to FancyBox media on the anchor. And let's save this page. I'm just going to save and continue so I don't leave here. And now let's open up our script file. And I'm going to go back to this. I'm actually just going to grab this code right here, and then we're going to change it to fit our site. So right down here, I'm going to add this fancy box media. It's looking for this class fancy box media that we just added, and it's going to say add a fancy box to it. You know, no opening effect, no closing effect. That's fine with me. And we'll save this. And actually, we need to add this J before the $, if you remember, to make sure that jQuery is getting called correctly. And let's refresh this home page. And now let's click this watch video. As you can see, our video box, oh, that's me talking. Our video has fancy boxed in here. I actually want to check this out. I'm going to inspect this because I want to see, it should be giving me a close button, and I want to know where it's looking for that button. So I'm opening this link in a new tab, and it's saying it's looking in skin front end level up. So it's looking in the CSS directory for images. It wasn't really clear from the demo how they were doing that, so I just wanted to make sure. But I'm going to grab all these images, throw them in our CSS, and this might look a little bit better now. I'm going to X out of this, and let's refresh the page and try it again. Watch our video. Okay, we now have an X. Again, we now have an X button up here, and we're lightboxing the sweet video into our site, and it's all working. And check it out, it's even sort of responsive. It sort of adjusts here. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So if we were to have this smaller like this, and then we were to open it, yeah, it's going to be the screen size. So we have Fancy Box working, we have a slideshow. You can add all sorts of cool stuff to your site now with this. And these are sort of techniques that you see frequently, but really, if you learn jQuery, you can do a whole lot. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment on the video or hit us up on Twitter at Level Up Tuts. Let us know what you're thinking. Thanks for watching.